Chris, you mentioned the president's situation. My wife isn't a member of the teachers union, but I got to admit, I've been sleeping with a teacher for 38 years. And full disclosure.
Hey, yo! Hey. I fucking told you, now they gotta hold you. Everybody loses the second they tell you don't move. End up winning time if you never tell them the whole truth. Watching people talk about shooting Pac with their whole crew. Yeah. Run the pockets up, looking out of touch like you at the border with Mr. Musk. Gavin got you 20 for fast food, so you beat the rush. We could see the politics, Amy, you wasn't fooling us. Who the fuck got me in a suit so I could save face? Travis is so lucky that Taylor got his career made. Living in the era of bad brands and Tate. Fumbling on stage with the idiots who want more fame but don't change. I ain't fucking with this clown show. Mike Pence here with the cringiest fucking sex joke. And 7 motherfuckers just treading water with breaststrokes. Try to act like they got the biggest chance with those bad polls. Asshole, bad growth, posture so they can't vote. Shutting down the government like targets in the bad slow. Martin be like, save cinema, go watch some Chris Noel. Who gon' fucking tell him about Batman? For only just $1 you could feed this bad brand. For more residuals you might just salvage your whole plan. Striking only starting feels like unions are back, man. Like Kevin James memes you send to people who grandstand. Come on, man. You could leave a legacy and change the world and still fuck up how everyone remember things. And yes, you was a champion for so many fights, but now the confirmations plummet when you suddenly die. You can admire every titan for the swings in their life and hate the way they played the end when you were seeing the signs. With everybody in the press saying Dianne's fine, and now a legacy is tainted by the end she tried. Up in the final trip, trucks are looking driverless. Someone check if we're okay like Britney got her knife again. Maybe it's too much for anybody to solve, like Donald right before the judges like your business dissolved. Too soon. Bye bye, Donald. Bye, bitch. Bye bye. This week went from 0 to 100 so fucking quickly. Hey, thank you guys so much for watching Freestyle the News. If you like what you heard, please, after all the years of service and gratitude, tell that like button that, hey, you're gonna become a made like button, all right? So make them go through all the pageantry, right? Like they tell their mom and they tell their friends are waiting by on a phone call. And then when they go right into the house where the ceremony's about to happen, you hit that like button so hard that Robert De Niro is still feeling it. Also, if you didn't know, at the time you're gonna see this, the next day is my mom's birthday. Yay! So if you can, please wish my mom a happy birthday. She's an amazing, incredible person. She's helped to try to develop medicines for cancer, for various different diseases and everything like that. She's an amazing, awesome human being. But anyway, with that, let's get into the breakdown. And we have a lot of crazy stories to break down this week. First off, Tupac's murder has been solved. Or at least we kind of think it is. Because if you've not watched Vlad TV for the last decade and seen Keith D bragging about how, oh, by the way, I was involved in Tupac's murder, he was arrested, taken in on suspicion of participating in said murder. Now, like I said, there have been numerous interviews with this guy where he's just been on Vlad TV talking about the details of how he was like the driver for the Tupac murder. But he's been charged with murder because in the state of Nevada, where Tupac died, you can get charged with murder even if you're an accomplice. Duane Keith D. Davis, he's been known as one of the 4 suspects who was involved for a long time. And one of the crazy things about this whole thing is that Keith D. has quite a lot of the time implicated Diddy. That's right, Keith D. is now, and in other interviews, trying to put the blame that Diddy somehow was involved or orchestrated it or did something to push everything forward. And listen, there's been rumors since the 90s that Diddy orchestrated the hit. There's been bars, like Eminem did a bar against Machine Gun Kelly, one of the hottest bars on that diss track, by the way. We should go listen to it. But one of the bars was about how Diddy put out the hit that got Pac killed, which was fucking wild to say out loud in a major diss track. And look, if you've ever been involved in hip-hop discourse, you can probably understand that how many people thought Tupac was still alive. The fact that that rumor persisted so long should tell you how all of this is going. It is a wild minefield of conspiracy theories, of people going, calm down, and of people going, why the fuck did it take you a decade when this motherfucker has been doing interviews for you to arrest him? Kind of crazy, but we're gonna have to see how it develops. We're gonna see what happens with Diddy and all of this. Just to let everybody know, allegedly, I'm not saying Diddy did it. I'm saying allegedly, because I swear, even though being involved in hip hop, I fucking hate hip hop conspiracy theories. It just gets wild after stage 2. Like, you know how on TikTok, every time somebody's song gets famous, people go, that's a plant. And it's really, they're saying it's a plant because their music career hasn't taken off. That's like every day in hip hop conspiracy theories. It's a lot. And by the way, if you ever disagree, it's not that you're wrong, it's you're in on it. Moving on, we have the death of Dianne Feinstein. And look, I already put up a community post about this, but we're just gonna go through it again because it was clearly one of the biggest stories this week. Like, hands fucking down. It broke on Friday. I had to include it in there. I rewrote parts of the rap on Friday. So let's just go through it. Dianne Feinstein, who was the longest serving female senator, who was a champion for gun control and gun legislation, who was the former mayor of San Francisco, died on Friday. She was 90 years old. There had been questions about her health for the last few months, honestly, last few years, about her cognitive state and her health in general. She was one of the oldest senators in the Senate. And I'm going to reiterate what I did in the community post because I do think it is important. There are things that Dianne Feinstein did that are integral to progressive causes. There are barriers she broke that without, you would not have a playbook to champion causes that are important and vital and good. And at the same time, she did a lot of fucked up shit. She stayed in office too long, clinging on to power in office when over the years, so many people rung the alarm saying, yes, Dianne, you have done a lot of things, but this is a problem. And you are so entrenched in your office, you can't see past it. You're clinging on to power so much that it's actually hurting all of the things we need. Absolutely true, because now, and look, I hate to go into the political ramifications of this, but this is important because it's been tied with her health for so long. There is a real question as to whether federal judges that Biden is electing are going to get confirmed. There is a question whether they will pass the Senate without Dianne's vote. And look, there is also an argument to be made that retiring isn't so easy. A lot of people made this argument that, hey, listen, once Dianne retires, there's no guarantee they're going to have a replacement on that committee where they're confirming judges, which would also put in danger confirming those judges. That is an absolutely fair point. It's also a fair point to make that years before, this alarm's been going on for a while. We have been saying the Senate is very old. And look, it's not just Democrats. Republicans also have this issue. Mitch McConnell has created so many damaging parts to the way the Senate is operated, so many double standards, which are standard now, and at his advanced age, he is not in a healthy position. He fucking froze a few weeks ago. If anything, this creates such a spotlight on that. I really meant what I said in the community post, and yes, there are other really problematic things about Dianne Feinstein, like the fact that she let a Confederate flag fly when she was mayor of San Francisco. There's a lot of really positive things about Dianne Feinstein, like she was chief in passing the assault weapons ban. But this speaks to the problems of our system currently. We have a problematic system of government. We have a gerontocracy. We just do. We have old people in office who are a lot of times out of touch with the public, even if they mean well, who are so entrenched in power that when it comes to their ailing health, we have to just pray that they survive because the system is not built for them to give up their power. And when I say the system is not built, I don't mean that they can't do it. I mean that they just are incentivized not to. And the last thing I'm going to say is the government shutdown. Now, this actually is a story that broke like now. While I'm recording this, story just broke. So the Senate and the House have passed a 45-day stopgap bill to keep the government funded because that's what we love is extensions on a project you should have had done 3 fucking months ago. But I don't want to undermine like the fact that we have something, so let's just talk about what's in it. So the biggest thing excluded is financial assistance for Ukraine. Now the US has really supplied Ukraine with a ton of funding for this war. They've really put everything behind aid for Ukraine. And Biden responded to the bill's passage, and I'll read from this just because it's breaking and I have to do that. This is good news for the American people, but I want to be clear, we should have never been in this position in the first place. Just a few months ago, Speaker McCarthy and I reached a budget agreement to avoid precisely this type of manufactured crisis. For weeks, extreme House Republicans, okay, I don't want to read a political statement. Look, he's not wrong. This was an agreement that should have been passed months and months and months and months and months ago. And by the way, I have talked a lot of shit on Biden, so that I'm not like caping for him here. But for real, McCarthy, who doesn't have his shit in order, had to deal with extreme Republicans. He didn't have his house in order, and now we came to this thing again. And last week, a lot of people were talking to me about like, oh, well, is it incompetence? It looks like there's maliciousness involved. I'll just be very, very, very clear. There is maliciousness, but it's led by incompetence. It's a manufactured crisis. Like the competence comes from Kevin McCarthy trying to spin a bunch of different things like, you know, we're trying to come together. Bro, it's your side. And again, McCarthy has had issues as speaker just his whole fucking tenure. If you want an apt metaphor, and I'm not trying to be like an asshole here, but like really, Kevin McCarthy is Twitter for Republicans. He is there. He is necessary for their brand. Everybody gotta use him, but everybody fucking hates him. And most of the time, the thing that he prefers to happen is not the thing that his constituents want. So 45 days, government shutdown averted. Let's see if in 45 days we go through the same shit. I will bet you it happens. I will play this fucking clip if it happens. But that's going to do it for today, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please check out last week's episode. We have a merch drop we were working on. I was going to have it drop today, but it's probably going to drop in October, so maybe it'll be a little spooky. But my name is Zaid, and I'll see y'all next week. Let's go!